cool. What's going on, everybody? We're back with Fifth Down Territory. We got a little two-man group going on right now. We're waiting for Blake, but we'll get the show rolling, and hopefully he will be on his way shortly. It's me and it's Dan today on Fifth Down Territory, presented by Stadium Rant, and we have a bunch of Week 11 stuff to talk about. We can get right into it. One of my biggest surprises is just like how bad the Falcons got punked by Bo Nix of all. Like, my disdain for Bo Nix. I don't like him. I don't know why I don't like him. Never did. Can't explain it. But he's with Sean Payton, and they are Payton has designed an offense that has been able to maximize the things that he does well and hide the fact that there's really not a bunch of great skill players. They have a good offensive line, and everybody else does their job pretty much. And it's just surprising that a team like the Falcons, who have all of these weapons and the new young coaching staff and Kirk Cousins, just got absolutely punked. And then the 49ers just there's just something different about this 49ers team. They're not winning games that you would see them winning consistently. They're injured. And I feel like they're putting a lot more on Brock Purdy, who is playing really well, to his credit. It's just that's not how they want to win football games. What are your biggest surprises? What's your biggest surprise?
Falcons game was definitely the bigger of the two surprises, in my opinion. That was a wild game just to see them getting absolutely blown out 38-6. I know Denver's got a great pass defense, and that's really how the Falcons have been getting the job done. Bijan's been popping off, don't get me wrong. But for them to have no answer against this defense kind of sheds a light on kind of how weak the NFC South is. Tampa Bay's been holding their own. They've been looking pretty solid as far as their roster goes after the injuries to their wide receivers. But 4-6, Tampa Bay, Saints 4-7, Panthers 3-7, Falcons holding on to the lead at 6-5 right now. They do have a tough upcoming schedule too. So I think that they're going to make the playoffs by, being the lead of their terrible division, but I don't think they're going to make any noise once they get into the playoffs.
They just don't seem to look like the same team every week. 1 week they look like this team who can survive a late, close, tight game. Next week they might get blown out. Then the week after that they might go and look dominant. And they really just don't know what team they want to be, because I feel like they have so many options and their staff hasn't really figured out how exactly everything mixes together. We can. I'll give Bahookie a little shout out here. His biggest surprise was the Lions winning 52-6. Quick note on the Lions: they scored a touchdown on every single one of their possessions in the football game. A touchdown, not a field. They had 7 drives. They scored 7 touchdowns, and they absolutely obliterated the Jaguars. They had 645 yards gained. And they're the first team since the 2014 Rams, I believe, to score a touchdown every drive and not allow their opponent to score a single touchdown.
What's the biggest blowout? I don't know, in this decade? It's got to be up there. 49 points.
I mean, dude, they just did this to the Titans a couple weeks ago.
Right.
Actually, our other co-host who's not here, Louis, has a problem with how they're kind of dismantling these teams. He says it goes against showmanship, sportsmanship.
Right.
He's like, you're playing a dangerous game and not really respecting the game. And I'm just like, nah, you get this man bites off kneecaps. If you can't stop him on a drive, he's scoring. And guess what? Is he playing with it a little bit, throwing it offensive lineman against Dallas up 35. Like, maybe. Am I enjoying the hell out of watching that?
Exactly. This
Yeah.
is an entertainment league. I'm being entertained. They look incredible, and on top of it, if you want to stop them, design a defense to stop it. Like, do
They do.
your
They
job.
just have
You'll have
hogs on the offensive
yeah,
line, and you just like Dan Campbell. I'm pretty sure he's offensive line tight ends coach when he played. So like he might not be the greatest tactician or X's and O's guy, but like if he has a part in that offensive line, they're their best unit, and all of his players want to run through a wall for him and play hard. Like that team plays harder for their coach than anybody in the league, I would say.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
like you got a lot of things going for you. We can go into the overreactions, underreactions though. My
Oh, I
over
forgot to hit mine
oh,
real quick.
word, my bad, my bad.
No worries. Biggest surprise for me was the Colts beating the Jets, specifically through their passing attack. Jonathan Taylor did not have a good game. He attempted 24 carries for 57 yards, gave him a 2.4 per attempt. Absolutely awful. Previously this year, the way to beat the Jets was through a strong run game, and you could try to get what you can get against their like incredible secondary.
Mhm.
Anthony Richardson this year, I believe there was one game so far that he had before this game where he had completed more than 10 pass attempts. So
Insane.
yeah, one game, and now he goes 20 for 30 for 272 yards and one touchdown just through the air, adds another 32 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground, and does it against one of the best defenses in the league right now. So that really surprised me. Maybe getting some time to watch the game, kind of, reassess where he's at, has done him well. But don't overreact to that either. Which leads
Dude,
us,
the Jets are trash, man.
yeah,
Like we actually have some news on the Jets. They fired Joe Douglas. If you haven't seen that news, that was their GM. Um, I felt like he
oh
was decent at player evaluation. I thought that he did a good job in their drafts.
right,
He was ultimately tied to the two quarterback decisions he made in New York, and those just did not work out for him. And I'm sorry, three. Was Sam Darnold a part of Joe Douglas? Was he a
I
part of that
believe,
era?
I believe
Okay, so
so.
three. You were wrong three
Great.
times. Actually, you might have been right on Sam Darnold, but you had him seeing ghosts. Then you get
Right.
Zach Wilson, which was a reach to begin with, and then you trade multiple picks to go get Aaron Rodgers, give him the bag, and he's just cooked. So
Yeah. I think it was
you get
long overdue.
fired. You get
Right.
fired. Like that's how you get fired.
Yeah.
You want to know how you get fired? You just mess up on the quarterback three times, and then like there you go, bing bam boom.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, so that's that the Jets are just abysmal. They actually also heard that they don't want Rodgers back for 2025. So like the Jets look like they're finally going into a full rebuild,
As they
which
should have. They could have been out of the rebuild by now if they
of
just
course,
truly
but they're
went
the
for it.
Jets.
Right.
We all
Yes.
like everybody was like this is the perfect situation except it's the Jets. And then the Jets ended up
The
jetsing
first team.
and it just didn't work because they're the Jets. So I
And
love
for any
that.
Jets fans that are out there that are salty right now, as you can see, I'm a Browns fan. So I know about cursed teams. I can speak from experience. All right.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
So yeah, of course you don't. You're just listening. Oh
I mean,
man.
I kind of felt some of that for a few years there, but I don't know. My certified sicko might be coming to change those things around these parts, but we're
That's
not
right.
there yet.
Yeah.
We're on overreactions. So my overreaction right now is just like the Bo Nix for Rookie of the Year hype. I know the numbers say he's pretty close to Jaden Daniels, but I just I feel like when you give a player Sean Payton, you give him so much of an advantage. And I'm not trying to take, maybe I am trying to take away a little bit of what he's done because I don't like the guy. But
I don't
I
feel it,
just
man.
don't, I just think it's a little, we're not there yet. Like the Falcons are kind of a team fluttering. Like when he played the Ravens, what did he do? Like he got locked up and they got locked up and they lost. Like, yeah, he played the Chiefs. He didn't play all that fantastic against the Chiefs. Like, They play a tight game. Their defense is really holding this team up. And he's just doing simple things that, like, he's getting all these plays schemed open for him. He's playing well inside of his system. I think Jaden Daniels has shown you highlight plays and think, like, I know he's leveled out a
Right.
little bit, but he's faced tougher competition over the last couple of weeks, and I think he's still looked good. And I think people just need to calm down a little bit on that. And then my
I get that.
underreaction. Oh, do you have a
Mhm.
thought on that
I was just gonna say,
counterpoint?
I do get that. I don't get the Bo Nix hate. I don't understand that at all. But he definitely
I remember Bo Nix in Auburn, and I get players progress,
mm,
but when you spend like 6 years in college, like, I feel like his ceiling isn't much further ahead of what we just saw. Like, I feel like this game that we just watched is probably going to be one of his better games that he plays in a while. That's just my thought. Like, I don't see a ceiling higher than what we just saw, like 28 of 33 for 305 and 4 touchdowns. Like, that's an
yeah.
incredible game, but like, I don't see him playing much better than that, and I don't know if he can play at that level consistently through tougher defenses. If that
I get
makes
what you're
sense.
saying. I mean, he's played some pretty tough defenses all year. He's I mean, since the beginning of the year, Pittsburgh, I'm just listing off the tough ones.
Go
Pittsburgh,
for it.
Tampa
Yeah, yeah.
Bay, Jets, Chargers, uh Baltimore's mostly tough against the run, not so much against the air, and he didn't have a great game there. But then KC and Atlanta, both respectable defenses as well. I feel like he has had some decent defenses to go up against. I think that he is definitely playing within the system, but that's why I liked as soon as he was drafted to Denver, especially
Yeah.
investing higher than expected draft capital in him. Is like
Bless
that's
you.
the guy that fits Sean Payton's system.
Yeah.
Most people's like draft evaluation of Drew Brees wasn't like exceptional on the physical side and like what his ceiling could be, but he's just like a good processor. And
Yeah,
Bo
I get
Nix
that.
seems to be that. So I've liked Bo Nix. I had him ranked higher than the majority did. I had him above Penix and above JJ McCarthy heading into the draft before JJ McCarthy was injured. But you know, we get some hits, we get some misses. I do think that it's overblown. Jaden Daniels should still be rookie of the year for right now.
Then my underreaction is, like, I don't like. There's a report that just came out of Foxborough that like, all the Patriots coaches are safe for right now. I don't necessarily like love that because of how I've watched them lose multiple games to this team. Like, he, uh, let me just do this quick. So when
Mhm.
you're Gerard Mayo, you're middle linebacker for like 10 plus years. You're obviously a defensive minded guy. Like, that's where you played. That's your specialty. So
Right.
you look at the Rams. You're like, what do they do well? Okay, most of their offense is funneled between their two really really good wide receivers. All right, so I'm going to build my defensive game plan. What's my first thought? Gotta stop those receivers. Let me look at what I have. Oh wait, I have a lockdown number one cornerback. So, like, what should we do with him? And he was not on Cooper Cup or Puka Nakua for most of the game. He wouldn't shadow them. He would stay on one side. And then what Sean McVay would do was just like, all right, I'm just going to motion away from Christian Gonzalez and throw away from him to the other side.
Yeah.
Essentially taking out your best hope to stop this offense. And it's like, the other thing is, you spent 10 years with Bill Belichick. What did Bill Belichick always do? He
Take away the
stopped the
top.
team's best player.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, you're not gonna stop. You're not gonna beat me. We're gonna stop you, and then you're gonna have to figure out a way to adjust in game to beat us somewhere else.
Yeah.
And Cooper Cup and Puka Nakua went off. So I'm not really loving the overall underreaction to, oh, they're just safe. Everything's fine. It's like, it's really not fine. They could have won. They could win. They could have won 3 to 4 games now that they haven't due to coaching. And you win those games, you're 7-4 with a rookie quarterback in your first season. Like,
Yeah. No,
ah,
it right, like you're saying, it should be one taken away, at least one of them. Throw Gonzalez on there. Um, do you guys play more zone or more man coverage? I know the
no, we
league is
play
a whole.
man. We play man at like the second highest rate in the league.
Okay, yeah, that's crazy then that he's not shadowing. I
Like
get it if
so
it's
I
zone, it's gotta
they what so McVay really smart offensive head coach. We all know this. One of the best
right,
offensive minds in the sport. So obviously he does these things. He has these formations where like Puka and Cup are lined up in tight slot formations really close to the line. So like if the Patriots what they'll say or what I've heard as a response to what I said about putting him on him is well, if Gonzalez is inside like that playing slot cornerback, Puka's a really good blocker. So they'll just check to a run and blow Gonzalez off the spot. And it's like, well, you're the head coach, though. You have to figure out a way around that to make
counter
sure
that.
your best
Yeah,
player can cover their best. Like, you
right.
can't just not do that because
Can't
they
just
have a
accept it.
that's
Yeah,
unacceptable. That's
completely
your
agree.
job.
Right.
And then you're
And
telling me that he's just fine. Everything's fine. Like, no, there needs to be a little bit of a hot seat if you're showing me that you can't do your job.
100%, and it should have been predetermined too, because the Rams, 2 years ago ran the 3rd most pre-snap motion, 56%, and then last year ran 76.7%, highest rate in the NFL.
It's
So, like,
crazy.
over 3 quarters of their plays, they have pre-snap motion.
Yeah,
So,
it's
Gerard
ridiculous
Mayo
for
knew
that.
that going into it.
It,
It's like
it's scary. Like usually, that is one thing he should know how to do. Like the one thing is
100.
the defensive side of the ball. People should be playing hard, be in the right position, and he should have a good defensive game plan.
Yeah. I
I'm
really
not
don't
gonna
understand it.
get that
Yeah.
from week to week basis. But what is your underreaction? Then we can go certified sicko and
Yeah,
move on.
so okay, word. Yeah. So when I saw this in the show doc, I thought it was overreaction or underreaction. So I only got
All
one
good.
here.
It's all good.
But I
It's fine.
got San Francisco's loss to Seattle and the impact it has on their playoff hopes. Because right now they are sitting at the bottom of the NFL West, albeit there's 3 teams tied at 5-5, and
They
the
wouldn't be
Cardinals
in the
have just
playoffs if it ended today. If the
yeah,
season
they would
ended
not
today,
be in
they'd
the
be out.
playoff.
I
And
think
that's
they're
the
the
thing.
ninth
So
team.
I don't have that in front of me
Eighth or
yet.
I
I
think
can
the
pull it up.
Rams are ahead of them. Like I think the Rams are ahead of them because
Yeah,
they're both
so
like yeah.
everybody in the NFC West is ahead of them right now because of their bad divisional, record. They are 1-3 in division, that is worst of
Mhm.
their division. They don't have an easy schedule moving forward either. Right now, Green Bay next week, Buffalo, Chicago, they can get that game.
Ugh,
Rams, the Dolphins, the Lions, and then the Cardinals. So
that's so beat.
that's not gonna be easy moving forward. Green Bay, I do think that San Fran should win that game. But Green Bay's a tough team. They could sneak one out. Buffalo should beat San Fran right as of right now, how they're cooking. Chicago, that's probably easy dub for San Fran. Rams, kind of 50-50. We've seen the Rams play them tough, and the Rams
Yeah.
passing attack is turning it on. Dolphins, kind of the same thing, starting to turn it on with a healthy Tua.
Mhm.
Detroit, obviously, we've seen what they can do. And then Arizona's going to play them tough too. So,
Arizona already beat them once.
right. It's like they got divisional games, teams with like high flying offenses, and Chicago. So
Yeah,
that Chicago win,
Chicago is the only game in there that's like, yeah, they should really win that game with ease. And all the other
right.
ones, you're going to be in a fight because they're not fully right. Like, they're still not right. Like, they're not fully
Yeah,
healthy. And their
they aren't.
defense, something's wrong with the defense. Like, I know they have Joey Bosa, they have Fred Warner, but if you're staying away from Joey Bosa, or I'm sorry, Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, and like you're neutralizing him and you stay away from the middle of the field, like you
Yeah,
can beat this defense like deep over the top on the sideline, like
right.
running the football. They haven't been that great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely agree with that. So with that, we can move. Do you want to do your certified sicko?
Certified sicko. I mean, hard not to give it to this guy. Taysom Hill does it all. He does it against my team, and even watching it after, I'm very much about the Browns getting as low of a draft pick as we can possibly get. So I'm fine with the loss, unfortunately. But Taysom Hill, 7 rush attempts, 138 yards, 3 touchdowns. Caught another.
Certified Sicko of the Week.
I love it. You got to give that Baker Mayfield a little
Yeah, I thought
shine
I
there,
didn't know,
Jersey.
I didn't know you were still talking. I thought you did the little like the half mic drop after the stat read. So I did the
I love the drop, man. Send the drop whenever it's applied because this man
yeah.
is a certified sicko. There was another 8 receptions for 50 yards, and then he completed 1 of 2 passes for 18 yards, 206 total yards on the day. Whole offense really ran through him. He is both the guy who will pick up the third downs and the guy that can turn a simple run play into a big gain. So, guy who does it all. Love that guy.
I'm pissed. I had a decision between him and Will Disley, and I picked Will Disley, which wasn't a bad decision. It just wasn't the perfect decision. And I
Right.
needed to make the perfect decision because Joe Mixon flame broiled me on Monday night.
Yeah.
So I had Tank Dell and CD Lamb, and he had Mixon. He was up 10. And there was one point where I looked, I'm like, I'm only down 6. And then Mixon caught the 17-yard, or I'm sorry,
Oh,
he had the
no.
17-yard run. Then he caught the 13-yard pass. They scored the third touchdown. I was like, well, that one did
Hurts.
it.
That
that one
hurts.
that was 2 body shots and then the spinning heel kick to the ribs, and I'm on the ground.
Finish him.
Just not good. Not good. So, but yeah, my certified sicko of the week just so happens to be Drake May. I don't care if that's homerism. I could care less. Could care less. Homie threw 40 passes as a rookie on this god awful team, and he completed 30 of them for 282 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's making passes running to his right, throwing to his left, people jumping in front of him, changing his arm angle, sidearm, doing hop passes. Like he's running, trucking people, throwing his shoulder down. Like this kid's the best player on the New England Patriots, and it's not even freaking close.
Oh, yeah.
He is scratching, clawing, and prying this team along to like be relevant, and they are just refusing to like. They just don't have the talent around. Like the offensive line is not good enough. The receivers are not good enough. The coaching staff is not good enough. And this kid is making all these things look almost good enough. Like so close. He's unlocking Hunter Henry. He's unlocking Pop Douglas. He's unlocking like he's using Keyshawn Booty. Like he makes dumb mistakes, but this dude looks like a smaller version of Josh Allen. He really does out. Like there are plays he makes where I sit there and I'm just like, I haven't seen that as a Patriots fan in my life. Even with Tom Brady, there's just things that he can do from a physical standpoint that Brady just like wasn't able to do like on the run.
100%.
So,
Though.
yeah, he's my certified sicko.
It's giving the New England Patriots hope because, like, he truly does look like he can really like catapult a team into the next tier if he gets the help around him. He's doing it without a ton of great talent.
He just looks unfazed. He reminds me of Gronk with like the just like attitude of like, yo, I'm just like having fun. I could care less about what, like, if I make a mistake, I don't care. I'm shaking that shit off and I'm dotting up my next pass to this kid because like that's who I'm a stud. Like that's who that kid is. Like, you know, like he's just smashing his head on the wall for no reason. Like that's who he feels like to me. And like going from Mac Jones, who it feels like, oh, I missed a pass by like a quarter inch, he would melt down and cry. Like to Drake May, where he could like throw the worst pick in his life and then come back and score on the next 2 drives and be like 14 like or some shit like that and just be really good. Like that shows me that I don't know if he can be ruined. Like he just might be too dumb to realize that he's being ruined and he's just too good. Like and I don't mean dumb, I just mean like ignorant. Like he's just so young and like wants to play football. Like he just doesn't care about any like he doesn't no
Yeah.
pressure. There's
I mean,
no
it's
pressure.
all summer. Like how old is he too? He's like super
22 years old, dude.
22.2. Yeah, so like that's he's gonna grow into truly what I feel like a lot of us saw in him pre-draft, like a Justin Herbert-esque type quarterback. Just
Yeah.
how we need to surround him with what Justin Herbert had in his first few years coming into the league.
No, we need we need the playmakers that he had, but the coach that he has now.
Yeah.
Honestly, Elliot Wolf, just I wish I could smack you up, buddy. Because, like, dude, we had Lad McConkey sitting right there. And they're like, no, we're gonna trade back a couple spots, pick up a random 4th rounder, and take Jalen Polk. Lad McConkey's going 8 for 125 in crucial down situations.
Yeah.
Ripping off big plays for the Chargers. I'm just like sitting here like, man, it'd be really cool if like we could have had Lad McConkey and George Pickens because like we could have drafted both of them and we don't have either one of them and neither player that we drafted is any good. So
could you imagine that compliment right now? The deep threat of Pickens and then that short intermediate slot and McConkey.
And then you have Pop and Hunter Henry. Like all of a sudden that offense looks sick.
Great. Right, because Pop is doing his best right now. But
he's a slot receiver. Like he's a really, really good 3rd receiver.
Exactly.
And like Hunter Henry's like probably a really good 2 option, but like nobody is in the right slot. And the same thing for the offensive line. You need an anchor. There is no anchor, so everybody's trying to step up into a better role than what they're suited for. So like, and so I have 4 things I want the Patriots to do. Sign Garrett Bowles, right? Step 1. Sign T. Higgins. Step 2. Take Travis Hunter. Step 3. Travis Hunter and T. Higgins. Get Garrett Bowles for your left tackle. Have him be your anchor. You have Garrett Bowles, Michael Onwenu, and David Andrews comes back next season. So all of a sudden, that's a good offensive line.
Yeah.
And then your 2nd round pick, you take James Pierce Jr. if he's still available, the end from Tennessee, because they need a defensive like game wrecker on that. Like they need another pass rusher, which is something that nobody wants to hear. But if you get T. Higgins and Travis Hunter and Garrett Bowles, you can use the 2nd round pick on a defensive player because like then you're like, word, T. Higgins is my 1. I could decide if I want to use Travis Hunter on offense 1 game or defense 1 game. Because like you could either be like, word, he could be my cornerback 2 with Christian Gonzalez and Marcus Jones, and you just 6 secondary for that game. Or you could be like, word, I'm just going to have T. Higgins and Travis Hunter and Pop Douglas line up. And you're like, word. So, like, now what are you going to do? Like, that's how I fix the Patriots. They won't do any of those things. But, like, that's how I fix them. Because, I don't know, I think I could do that. But anyway, let's get to our next segment here. I got a little drop for us. And then a little image to show.
I had an accident.
You had an accident? What does that mean?
You!
Pissy Pants Player of the Week.
So yeah, the Pissy Pants Player of the Week goes Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, the Falcons, getting absolutely abused by Bo Nix and the Sean Payton-led Broncos. Michael Penix had to appear in this football game, and that's when you know things are not going well for Kirk Cousins. He was walking off the field, not feeling good. He was riding that bench for about 10 minutes. Game time. Dude, what I honestly, you know what? I'm gonna do it one more time because I actually feel like this needs an arm.
I had an accident.
You had an accident? What does that mean?
You!
Pissy Pants Player of the Week.
Mike McCarthy almost made this list a 3rd time. He was on this list in week 3. I think this was week 9. He was on this list.
Pants.
There he goes again in week like 6, whatever week it was. He almost
Oh,
made it
man.
again, but like, let's be fair here. Cooper Rush, like you're not really getting the best circumstances, even though I think Mike McCarthy is the most overrated head coach in all of sports, in
Yeah,
all of history,
100%. In
like
all of history.
all of time. All of time. All
I
right.
do like
Anyway,
it, though.
so
Yeah.
let's get into our game picks here. Since it's just the two of us, it should go faster, even though we just spent 30 minutes on the recap. So yeah, we got Steelers Browns here Thursday night football, ugly divisional game incoming. We thought this Ravens Steelers one was going to be the one that to like get some points on the board and like not be this ugly crap fest and like automatically Derrick Henry fumbles and you're just like and then the Steelers just can't score a touchdown and you're just like we're so back to be in the AFC North, aren't we?
That's
And
what we
like
did.
yeah, the Steelers won that game 18-16 and didn't score a touchdown. So hell yeah, that was such an AFC North game. And here we go, we got another one. I like the Steelers in this one. They're just playing too good.
Yeah.
On really both sides of the ball. I know Russell Wilson's a little bit inconsistent, but like you have Justin Fields, you have packages you could kind of mix in there for that.
Yeah.
And what you've really done since inserting Russell Wilson is unlocking George Pickens. Like these deep lob balls down the field, these shot plays,
Yeah.
just giving him a chance to go up and do something. They're working. Like he can go up and beat. If you got one-on-one on George Pickens, throw the fucking ball to him. Like
Right.
you'll be fine. Like for the
Yeah,
most part,
man.
like you're gonna be okay. He's gonna be a grown-ass man and take that shit. Like
Yeah. And that's exactly the thing too. Like, I mean, obviously as a Browns fan, I want my Brownies to win. I hate the Steelers more than
yeah,
any
you
team
hate
in
seeing
any
teams
sport.
lose.
What'd you say?
You hate seeing your team lose.
Yeah, and
Like
to
it
my
sucks.
most
Like
hated team.
I know it's better to have them win like for draft, but like I can't
Right.
root
Oh,
for them
it's
to be bad.
painful every week, no
Sucks.
matter what. Like, I know the logical choices doesn't matter, and especially against the Steelers, I just want us to pull it off. But Steelers are going to take this one. I am shocked that the line is at 3.5 points right now. To be honest,
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
yeah, I got Steelers covering the spread. Player of the game, TJ Watt, because our offensive line has not been what it once was. And on top of it, even with Jameis Winston being far better than Deshaun Watson was at the beginning of the year in terms of taking sacks, he is still going to take at least 3 or 4 a game. That's his average so far, about 3.5. So TJ Watt's player of the game. I bet you he gets a strip sack of some kind, sets them up, and then anytime touchdown goes to Najee.
Yeah, I like that. Do you want to lead us into Chiefs Panthers?
Yes, sir. So I got Chiefs both winning the game and covering the spread. 11 points is a ton. The Chiefs do have a tendency to make games a little bit closer than they need to be. But I think that the Chiefs are just so far and away better than the Panthers. It's going to be not to the level of Detroit last week, but it's going to be a big blowout. And I personally have the player of the game. I know that Pacheco's coming back off injury. It says expected to return in week 12. I do think that right now the Chiefs are focused on one thing, and that is the Super Bowl. They want to return. I don't think Pacheco gets mixed in too much, at least for his first week back. So I have both the player of the game and the anytime touchdown going to Kareem Hunt.
Word. So yeah, I have the Chiefs win this game, but historically, Andy Reid has not been one of those coaches who runs up the score per se, especially in this Mahomes era. Like you just said, they're focused on one thing, and that's winning the Super Bowl. Like if they go up 21 to 10, I expect them to just start pounding the rock. Like you know what I mean? And I do have to give credit to the Panthers and Dave Canales and Bryce Young. Like he's looked like a slightly more put together quarterback since coming back from being benched. I think like it's done him a little bit of good, realizing that he has football mortality, if that makes sense. It's like, oh shit, like I almost just lost my job. Like I just got it. Like I don't know if that's good. So I
He like
should
stumbled onto a power stone or something.
yeah, you're like,
Like,
oh dude, this is whew, okay.
yeah,
But
survive.
like you got Jalen Coker, you have Xavier Leggett, Jonathan Brooks makes his start, Jatavion Sanders is starting to play more, like the youth movement starting to happen, and I
Yeah.
think all of these players are just a little bit more explosive, and they might give Kansas City a little bit more of a fit. And Chuba Hubbard's been playing really, really good football this season. Like their offensive line has gotten better as well. Like I think their interior offensive line is a strength for this team now. So
Yeah.
I think 11 is just too many points. Like if this were like
Fair.
6, I'd take 6. 11 is crazy.
That's a ton. That's a ton. All right. Oh, I'm not a host on this show. Never mind. Tyler,
So yeah, I can just lead us back into Pat's Dolphins. Sorry,
no, you're
people
good. I
in
just went into
this.
autopilot. I was about to start hosting.
No, you're good. Hi, buddy. Hi, dog. Hi. How are you? So I have Pat's Dolphins next. It's Dolphins -7 is the line. I have the Patriots winning this game. Patriots covering this game. I know Miami's looking a little bit better, but I just think like we were talking about Drake May earlier, and another thing that we didn't really get to talk about is just how he has been able to grow in every start. He doesn't make the same mistakes generally. Like you see him make a mistake, and then you see him go and want to correct that mistake and talk about making it, noticing it, and being like, "Look, I'm going to work on that." And I think like I was taking the 7 points anyway, but like since I don't really care, I'm going to take the Pats to win as well. Why not? Because we're here. So, Drake May would be the player of the game if they do win, and Devon Achane would score a touchdown because when Tua is healthy, he is a animal. Just getting he is the number 2 target on the team. He's can turn any play into a touchdown. Any touch he can score. So
Yeah.
Give me
No,
Devon.
100%. He's electric. I do have Dolphins both winning and covering the spread. I got Achan as the player of the game. I got Tyreek as the anytime touchdown scorer. In the 2 out of 3 games, Tua has been back since injury. He has scored a touchdown. So I like that to continue. And I mean, Patriots kind of middle of the pack on both ends, but they're a little bit worse to wide receivers than they are running backs. So I am going that direction. We'll see. Maybe though, Christian Gonzalez shadows this week. If not, I'm sure
I
McDaniels
doubt
will throw Tyreek in motion a lot and take advantage of that.
Yeah, for sure. Why don't you lead us into Bucks Giants if you
Word,
are
yeah, we can flip flop
good.
the rest of the way through if you want.
Yeah.
So I got Bucks and Giants. I got Bucks winning and covering for the play. I mean, it's 5.5 points, right? That's what we got the spread right now.
Yeah.
That's
5.5
insane to me.
as well.
I don't understand that at all. Especially Daniel Jones is not starting. He at least offered somewhat of a baseline, but
No,
yeah,
they think Tommy Cutlets is a better version.
I don't understand that. Like on top of it, you guys brought in Drew Lock for situations like this. I guess like he always should have been the backup.
You spent $5 million on Drew Lock to have him not play.
Yeah, not play a single snap. You didn't want to see what's it like. I would have been at least interested to see what Malik Neighbors could do downfield with why am we just said it. Drew Lock. With Drew Lock in comparison to Daniel Jones, there's no interest here from Tommy DeVito. Yeah, just atrocious last season. So I like Bucks by a long shot. And because I think it's going to be so out of hand in terms of the score, I got Bucky Irving as the player of the game and the anytime touchdown.
Word. I have Bucks winning, Bucks covering. No Tommy Cutlets Italian of the week games. None of that stuff going on. No track star mafia here. Vita Vea, I feel like, is going to be the player of this game. I do have Tyrone Tracy having a pretty good game, but anytime they go to throw the football, I feel like Vita Vea is going to be in their backfield. And Mike Evans is supposedly on his way back from a hamstring injury, and Baker Mayfield just has still felt dangerous with him not playing. So he's going to feel dangerous with Mike Evans playing. You know what? He's going to feel like he is
Certified sicko of the week.
Oh yeah.
Wake up feeling like that. 6 chain hanging, doing that like weird thing with his lip.
And if you
yeah,
guys are into fantasy, most trade deadlines are closed by now. But if you can still go get them, Baker Mayfield rest of the season, Giants, Panthers, Raiders, Chargers is a tough one, Dallas, Carolina to end your fantasy season. That's how you get that money.
yeah, that's
Great
what you're
time.
looking for. I'm actually hitting up my buddy now because I still need a quarterback in one of my leagues.
There you go. There's your target.
So Cowboys, Commanders, and make this one easy. Commanders minus 10.5 is the line. Yeah, give me Commanders minus 20.5. B-Rob again. He's gonna have like 150 total yards, 2 touchdowns. This team cannot defend the run whatsoever. They have no interest in defending the run. They have no interest in filling their gaps. They just don't have any interest in playing a solid defense as members of the Dallas Cowboys.
It's pretty crazy. Like most people's at least second in the division at the beginning of the season, and they just look so horrendous.
Yeah, it's so bad.
Yeah, it's awful. Don't feel bad for you if you're a Cowboys fan out there, though.
No.
So I got McLaurin, and I do agree with you. It's Commanders for the win. I think it's going to be out of hand. I do have McLaurin as the player of the game, though. He's had one solid game in the past 3 years going up against Dallas, and he had a really bad game last week. I don't know why. I just feel like it's going to be kind of a squeaky wheel situation. Not that he's squeaking, but I think that they're going to
squeaking.
he's squeaking. McLaurin's been incredible. I love McLaurin, but I think that he popped off, has the game that we've been used to him seeing prior to last week, and really like put some emotion on it. I think we see McLaurin like pumped up this week.
Yeah, no, for sure.
My bad. We were supposed to double down. What's the next one we have up?
You're good. Lions, Colts.
All right. So Lions, Colts. I have the Lions winning, of course. They have been looking dominant. I don't think anyone can really battle with them in the trenches. I do have the Colts covering, though. The Colts surprised me last week. They were more efficient through the air than I thought they would be against the toughest defense, it's at least against wide receivers and passing. I do see Detroit's weakness being through the air. All their wide receivers are healthy. And right now, the Indianapolis Colts have only lost one game by more than one score. That was week 10 against the Bills. Only game that has been out of a one score striking distance for them. So I think they keep it within 7.5.
Word. Yeah, no, I am gonna have to disagree with you here. I think the Lions roll in this. I just don't think Anthony Richardson played well against the Jets team that looks good on paper on defense. That team is not right. Like that Jets team is not right on defense. Hey, get out of there. Matty loves to stick his face in places. But anyway, yeah, so that Jets defense is just they have good players, but they have no coordination, they have no direction. They honestly just don't want to be there anymore. The Lions are a whole different animal. Like Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch are flying around the field. Like Anthony Richardson's probably throwing a pick 6 here. And I was saying, like, I think having St. Brown, Jamison Williams, and Jahmyr Gibbs all to have 100 yards, Monty touchdown, and Lions minus 7.5, and Jared Goff plus 300 passing yards. There's your parlay. Just the same thing that just happened last week is going to happen again this week because that offense is nearly impossible to stop. When they're running the ball like that, you get the play action cooking. You got Jamison Williams you got to worry about getting behind you, and St. Brown you want to worry about staying in front of you. You're like, yo, what? You got Jahmyr Gibbs.
Which way do we go?
Jahmyr Gibbs is in the flat. You're like, oh, wait, what? That guy's
Yeah.
way too fast to be over there.
It's fair. It's fair. The offense is impossible to stop. I think that the offense for the Colts should be able to keep up at least enough if they're able to repeat last week, but we'll see. We'll see. I do also have, I mean, both players of the games, obviously from the Lions. I got Gibbs and then Monty for the anytime touchdown.
Word up. You want to lead us into Titans Texans? Actually, no. I'll lead us into Titans Texans. I have the Texans winning this game. I actually have the Titans covering. I do think Will Levis has had lots of issues and memeable issues that are almost like on par with like the butt fumble. Like he's almost doing butt fumble stuff. And that's crazy for me to come out now and be like, look, this player is showing me that he can at least come in and be like that pass to Westbrook Akini was absolutely perfect. He threw a 51-yard pass to Calvin Ridley for a touchdown that got taken away. I thought Levis played much better in this game. If he is going to play at least semi-decent, I think they can keep it within a touchdown. Joe Mixon, though, is going to run all over this team because Joe Mixon just runs all over everybody.
Yeah, I do. I hear you. Tennessee's
I
like
have
a
Jalen
decent run
Petrie
team.
because to score a touchdown, because I still just don't. As much as I just said I trust Will Levis, I can't trust Will Levis. It's like not within me to do so. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like both of us are very close to on the fence in terms of the spread. Texans are an easy dub for the money line, but the spread, the Titans have a solid defense. If Will Levis doesn't turn the ball over a ton, I think that the Titans can keep the Texans at bay in order to keep this within an 8.5 point spread. But I don't think that they are going to. I don't think Will Levis has a turnover-less game. I think he either fumbles or throws a pick. The Texans get some easy field positioning and end up winning by like at least 10 points. So player of the game for me, I got Nico Collins. Tennessee's solid run D, so not messing with that. And then anytime touchdown, though, it mixes such a lock. It's hard not to go with him at this point.
Yeah, he's so good. Like they took away that Nico Collins touchdown, and then he broke out of that hole on the 45-yarder. I was like, wow, ain't nobody touching him. And I just lost my fantasy matchup. This sucks.
I had dropped a couple bets for that game, and I still hit on an $80 bet, but I had a secondary one that was basically the same bet, but plus a Nico Collins touchdown. And if I had hit on that, I'd have been like over 200 on that game.
I had a 7-legger. I went 5 out of 7. The two things that didn't happen were Nico Collins touchdown, and I had Cooper Rush under 177 passing yards, but that went over by quite a lot. So I wasn't like that close, but like I was kind of, you're so close, but so far. Word. So like, let's get into Vikings Bears here. Why is this line at +3? Like,
don't understand it.
I don't understand. Like, I know the Vikings have played a little bit worse, and the Bears played a little bit better after firing freaking Shane Waldron. Actually, I think you might have been in the show when my dog's being a menace right now. Yo, get in. You might have been on the show the day that I was saying that what are we talking about? Vikings Bears. That the Bears had everything going for them except for Shane Waldron. That he would be the one problem in this offense that would cause like real issues.
100%.
I was 1,000% correct about that one.
Oh,
He sucks. That dude's not good at coordinating an offense. He's not doing a good job at it.
Man. Yeah, we were saying the same exact thing on our show. Shane Waldron ruined one of the nicer wide receiver trios in the NFL last year in Seattle.
Yep,
It's
he
like
did it again
JSN. You
this year.
see what JSN's doing now. This man
He's
is
nasty.
yeah, he was drafted where the GM saw exactly the talent. Shane Waldron looked at that talent and said, "Hey, let's only give you targets within 4 yards of the line of scrimmage." I think is
No, he said, let's give LaVisca Chenault these targets instead.
right. I mean, Shane Waldron's just been awful, awful. We have all said across pretty much the entire NFL landscape, Caleb Williams is walking into the best scenario a 101 quarterback has walked into. And what did Shane Waldron turn that into? One of the lowest scoring offenses in the league. So
It just
I
never
mean,
looked right. It just you
not
always
even
there
close.
there was
Yeah.
like way too much stuff to like who is it? Like Velas Jones or whoever the hell, like random people on the offense would be getting touches when you're just like, no, dude, you need to simplify. You have 4 players that you should have, like it's DJ, Keenan, Rome, Komet, Swift. Run your offense. Like those are
And
your
that's
players.
fine.
They like that. Run
Right?
your offense. That's more than
Agreed.
fine. You
Yes.
kidding
It's
me? I would kill somebody to have
oh
DJ
my
Moore on the
god.
Patriots.
Yes, I would
Kill
love those
somebody.
skill position players on my team
You
right now.
relax.
I
You
would
have Jerry Judy. Shut up.
oh,
It's even
it
better than what I got.
Jerry Judy. Okay, it
He's
is better
so
than what
much
the
better
Patriots
than what
got.
I have.
That's fair. That's fair. But
So much.
the Browns have that him and Njoku, Nick Chubb. I love Nick Chubb. He's my favorite
Cedric
player of all
Tillman,
time. But
way better
Cedric
than
Tillman's looking
anything that
nice.
we have
Yo, I
got
loved it.
cooking down
I
the stretch.
loved him out the draft too. I got him in a ton of dynasty leagues because of it. But yeah,
Thought he was way better than Jay.
dude, yeah, I didn't understand why he
Yeah.
wasn't getting a shot for the longest time. That felt like like trading Amari Cooper to me felt like Andrew Berry being like, "Hey, remember how I drafted this guy in the 2nd round?
Oh,
Play
he can
him.
play.
Play him
Like,
now." Yeah. Play him now and not at 20 mil a year like we're paying Amari. So, all right.
yeah, word back to the Vikings because they're gonna win this game. They're cover this game. We were talking a lot about the Bears, but Sam Darnold actually had a very nice bounce back game against the Titans, who have a good defense. That is one thing that the Titans do have. And I like the play calling. I like the staff. The Vikings just have everything going for them. I think TJ
Yeah.
Hawkinson's going to return to form this game. I see you have the same thing.
Yep.
And
The
then
same
I
thing.
have Cole Kmet scoring a touchdown because, again, I think this offense under Brian Thomas realizes that they need to simplify. They need to use their best players, and Cole Kmet is one of their best options in the red zone.
Okay. I do like that. I think he's a bit hit or miss just with him being the 4th target as far as the receivers go.
Yeah.
But I do get it. He's a big body. He is athletic. He can make a turn in an intermediate gain into a big gain. So I think I'm gonna pull audible here. I do have Hawkinson as the player of the game. I think that's gonna be nice, easy targets over the middle, while they have an incredible cornerback that I don't think is going to completely take away Justin Jefferson. But Jalen Johnson, I feel like is consistently underrated in terms of the top 5 cornerback talk. So I do think that maybe I'm audibling anytime touchdown to Jordan Addison. We saw one last week. I think that could pay off again this week with him going up against their CB2.
Yeah, for sure. Do you want to lead us into Broncos Raiders?
Broncos Raiders. So I definitely got the Broncos, especially after last week. What a blowout! What a game that they had. The Raiders have not had a run game. No, a non-existent run game all season. Their passing
It's
game has
gross.
been
Run
it's
game's
terrible.
gross. It's
I really
horrible.
thought Zamir White had a shot to do something. They drafted
Where's
interior.
Dylan Labe?
What'd you say?
Where's Dylan Labe?
Right. Honestly, anybody. Throw anybody in there that can get a
I
job
was
done.
right about Tyrone Tracy.
You were?
Kamini Vidal looks okay in limited sample size.
Mm-hmm.
Labe had 2 touches and 1 fumble, so that's not fantastic. But
Not
I will
fantastic.
I'll take 1.5 out of 3. especially when Tracy looks like a real like a hit. Like that look
And
like he looks like a
Vidal
stud.
would pop if J.K. Dobbins did what
Yeah.
he did
I
every other year of his career and
Yeah, I
got
thought
injured.
I was that was my whole thing. I was like Dobbins, Gus Edwards. And
Top.
I was like Devin Singletary. And I looked at the Raiders running backs. I'm like, none of these running backs scare me. And like
Yeah.
these young guys, these rookies, like they have profiles that I like. So like
Right.
their values to me. Like I have a lot of Tyrone Tracy, dude, because I was just mopping him up in the 4th round, like
Well, it's
all
just
over the
smart
place.
move. Like running
Yeah.
backs acclimate themselves into the NFL much quicker. All they had is Devin Singletary, and I will admit, like I wasn't. I
Singletary played
like
well.
he played well, and he played well with Houston last year, but that was a functional offense.
Yeah.
So now, when you have a dysfunctional offense and Singletary doesn't have the same efficiency metrics, like why not go to the younger guy? So I think that was a great call.
He was also a converted wide receiver. So like I love
Exactly.
that little
100%.
like in running backs, that little wrinkle in your game. Like, oh, so like you can like go out and like run routes. Like you're
You're
not
smooth
just
with
like
it, yeah.
yeah. Like word,
Especially
like we
for a
can
team
line you
that
up in the slot
is
and
going to
you can
be
run
chasing from behind.
exactly.
Yeah.
So like that just and like you have a coaching staff who's showed you a willingness to have a workhorse back and to trust a
Yeah.
running back, and he's earned that, and like he should be that going forward. Like why use a pick to do anything that you have other positions in need? Like I feel like Tracy's going to be pretty well in there for at least a year or two
If
if he
anyone
plays
made that specific argument to me preseason, I think that would have been the thing that swayed me. Because
I did. That was my argument. Like that was what I was doing.
we're not on the same show most of the days, but
I
yes.
feel you. I feel you.
I mean, but dude, yeah, no, I mean, obviously my handle, follow the volume is like I want those guys that are going to be peppered with targets, fed the ball nonstop. And you're right, Saquon was that dude. Devin Singletary, obviously not near the tier that he was, and dysfunctional offense means they're going to try out the younger guy. And when they do, they give him the full workload rather than split it up at all. And that's I really do wish I invested a little bit more heavily in Tyrone Tracy.
I looked at myself and I'm like, you're like like last year I was big on Puka, and like
Yeah.
I didn't get nearly enough of Puka that I should have because I didn't
Mhm.
like trust myself. And then this
Right.
year I was like, nah, Tyrone Tracy's that dude for you this year. You stick on your guns and you pick him everywhere you can. And I did,
Let's
and like
go.
I'm like, word. Now I'm like, I'm gonna start doing that shit. Like I might be wrong on some years, but like if I'm
Right.
right and I'm hitting on like a 4th round player who turns out to be like top 15 at their position, like
Right.
that's
Worth it.
just capital gains. Like
Worth a couple of misses. You want those guys that are going to be like the definition of your team, guys that make
word.
your squad. All
All right,
right.
we got a couple games left here. Not many, but a couple. So let's run through them. Did you give your? Yeah, you said Broncos. So I'm going Broncos as well. I had PS2 as the player of the game, and then you know what? Because it's freaking Sean Payton, we're gonna give me a Lucas Null touchdown. I don't know who that is. I actually don't know
Yeah, I
who
mean,
that is. So
he's a tight end. He's been getting mixed in. He's been increasing snaps over the last 3-4 weeks. I do think that I don't know why they're not playing Dulcich more. I think he's
I
shown
just
that he
don't
can.
think he's any good. I just clearly it's not working. It's like year 5.
Yeah,
It's like the breakout that just never will be.
yeah.
um
He just looked promising in year one. I think he's the
yeah, I
most
agree.
athletic of the bunch, but they don't really rely on their tight ends to do any receiving work in this.
No, they let them score like these random little dumb 2-yard touchdowns that don't help anybody for fantasy.
Right.
And like that's why I'm putting Lucas Snow down. It could very well be Andrew Beck or somebody like that. Like it could be a dude they
Yeah.
elevate that day. Could be random fullback number 3 who goes in and scores a touchdown, but that's happening. And
No.
I'm going to give an honorable mention to Brock Bowers because he is a sicko. And we had another awful offensive coordinator hire in Luke Getzey. Thankfully gets fired. Get that dude out of making offenses. Sorry, not sorry, not a fan of his. You get
Really quickly, I just didn't hit the player of the game. I got Cortland Sutton for player of the game and anytime touchdown, at least 70
Word.
yards in the last 4 games and 8 receptions in the last 4 games. So
the Raiders have no secondary to speak of, so I love that. And
mhm.
but yeah, I was just I think it's Scott Turner is the offensive coordinator now, the interim offensive coordinator for the Raiders, and he had them absolutely peppering Brock Bowers. So if that's going to continue, we really like Scott Turner's offense. We're gonna keep giving him 14 to 16 targets a week. Yeah, we're gonna keep dialing that up, please. Please do that. It works.
Yeah.
Like you move the ball. Like why would you move away from it if he's gonna be open on these little routes that like these little like in routes, these little hitch routes? He gets open and then he's such a good athlete. He just makes moves in space. Like it's so
Yeah.
hard to bring him down. So yeah, I don't know why you'd stop that. So anyway, moving into Cardinals Seahawks, great divisional game here. I'm gonna roll with the Cardinals. Shout out to Bahookie because he's been picking the Cardinals really, really well this year. I was gonna pick the Seahawks. I saw he had the Cardinals, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna ride with Bahookie on this just because of he's had a good feel for this team like all season. Like when they're gonna lose, he's not on them. When they're gonna win, he's on them. So I'm feeling the cards here. I think Kyler Murray has taken that step. I think he's taken that step forward of being a mature adult NFL player who handles his shit. Because like when he does that, when Kyler Murray's like playing to his full potential, he's a top 8 quarterback in the league. That dude's just as dangerous as anybody. Like
100%.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I just think that he's playing really, really good football. And when you have that, you also have James Conner, who's just I don't know, inevitably underrated. Like people just want to continuously hate on James Conner, and he just stays being wicked consistent, efficient, and frankly, just one of the best football stories out there. And
100%.
yeah, I think Trey McBride's going to get in the end zone. His usage just continues to move up. He just continues to make plays that you're just like, wow, that guy's a savage on the field. And he makes plays and he brings that energy, and you're like, wow, that hyped me up. Like he's hype. He's so hype. Like I'm hype. Like let's go. So Trey McBride scores touchdown. What do you got for this game?
We're pretty similar. I got cards and cards. I've been kind of on Cardinals for the most part this season. I do feel like sometimes when you want them to deliver, they can hit that dud for you. But I do have them winning this game. I got player of the game as Trey McBride, and then the anytime touchdown is James Conner. James Conner is just so consistent in the red zone. When he gets an opportunity, he delivers. So
I really liked your point though about how the Cardinals they're a really good dog team to bet on. The horrible favorite to ride with. But like I said, I feel I'm with Bahookie on this one.
Bahookie.
So like
And
I thought and Bahookie for the Cardinals, in Bahookie we trust this year. Go ahead and lead us into 49ers Packers, and we have 2 more games after that, and we'll get out of here.
All right, 49ers Packers. I got 49ers coming with a bounce back this week. I said it earlier. I do think that they should win this game. If both teams, in my opinion, play to their maximum potential, the 49ers come out with this. And I think that the 49ers are a well-coached enough team where they are typically not losing back-to-back games. So coming out with a disappointing loss to Seattle, I don't think that they're going to do that again for another team that is gunning for a playoff position. Green Bay, they're middle of the pack defense, but I think that the one point where you can really hit them on is tight end. And Kittle has been having quite the season for himself.
Very consistent year for Kittle.
And that's rarely the case for George.
That's been his thing, yeah. If it's always like, oh, if he could do this he's been doing it every week, like that's who he is if he's gonna do that.
Exactly, and the weeks that he would hit on before are the weeks that where, like, Ayuk or Samuel are missing.
Yeah.
Kittle, has Ayuk missing for the rest of the season, so he's gonna be more consistently a part of the game plan. But anytime touchdown, I got CMC because,
Word.
you know.
I liked the Packers here, did a little research. So Jordan Love's thrown an interception every single game he's played. All 8 starts, he's thrown a pick.
Wow.
Last time that happened was 2018 with Case Keenum. Before that, a dude by the name of I think it was Axel Cobb or something weird like that. Anyway, point is, last time it happened was in 1942. So like this shit doesn't happen that often. And like you said, the 49ers are just too well coached of a team. Like I just feel like this game's going to come down to the wire. Love might not have a pick yet. It's going to be late in the game and he might just let one go that he probably shouldn't, just like it happened in the NFC Championship game, and just take it away from him, and that might be the end of it. I have CMC finally having like a, all right, we're back. Like here's my 3 touchdown, 8 reception, 100-yard rushing game that everybody's missing from me. And then
Yeah.
Kittle scores a touchdown because he's so damn good. The
He's
guy's
so
such a
damn good.
beast. Like
He's just
he mossed 4 Patriots in the corner. He mossed 4 of them in one play.
just a
I was
man.
like, yo, we're all over there. Nobody could stop this guy. He was like, nah, nope. So yeah.
Quickly, before we move on, Packers the
Go
rest
for
of the season. So right now they are sitting as the 6th seed in the NFC. Only the Commanders are behind them at the 7th seed. The Rams are next closest at 5-5. Same with the Seahawks and 49ers.
Mhm.
Rest of the season schedule for the Packers, though. 49ers,
Tough.
Dolphins, Lions, Seahawks, Saints, and then Vikings and Chicago. All have played them tough or have won as far as the divisional opponents go. Right now, they got a 2-game lead on the next closest person, but I do think that one of the NFC West teams are going to overtake them for that wild card spot.
Yeah, the NFC is a lot more competitive than I thought it would be. And I don't know if that's because the good teams just aren't good enough or the bad teams just aren't bad enough, or you know what I mean? Like I
Feels
just
like
feel like everybody's in the middle. No,
Mhm.
I feel like that's what you were about to say. Like it feels like everybody's
Basically, yeah,
kind of
it's
like,
like all of the teams are stacked in the NFC West or NFC East. Like, I mean, the Cowboys are kind of trash now, but Eagles in Washington,
the
and
North
then
is good.
the North is solid for sure, and then it's like all of the bad teams have gone to the NFC South.
Yeah, just
Um,
the NFC South is soft. Like
yeah,
that was one of Bahooki's main points for tonight. I actually found out he did fall asleep, so it's okay. We're not gonna give him any shit for it. He feels
I'm gonna
bad.
give him shit for it. But
All right,
Bahookie, where you at, bro?
you can give him some shit. He definitely
Bahookie,
feels bad, so I'm not gonna
we
give him
had
any.
some gas for your Bills this week. I was gonna gas
Actually,
them up for
yeah.
the only win against the Colts that are more than a single game. I very much expected a Bahookie, like that's right, or like something from him. And you're not here to deliver it, Bahookie, so I do give you shit.
We didn't really talk about that game, but I do want to give a big shout out to Bahookie and Bills Mafia. I hate y'all, but like thank y'all for like making sure the Chiefs weren't unbeaten.
Undefeated.
Because I was getting a little worried there for a moment that they had the horseshoe up their ass after that
the
blocked
block
field goal. Yeah, I was just like, yo, come on. I was like, come on, man.
They need to lose.
I was like, that shit I used to get. I don't get that no more. Where's that? Where'd it
We
go?
all
There
hate
it
y'all
is.
enough.
There
If you're
it
not
is.
Chiefs fan, we all hate you at this point. Which is
Dude,
how we were for the Patriots, to be fair.
I say that to my dad all the time. I'm like, yo, is this what people felt about us? Like this is, I hate them.
I had no feelings towards the Patriots before your dynasty. And then
Yeah.
as soon as it hit like that 3rd Super Bowl, I'm like, okay, they can, get out of here.
Yeah, you're like, that's plenty. You've had
Yeah.
enough now.
Right. Browns have had 0 rings since Super Bowl.
Ran away for a while, came back after like 10, 12 years, another 4 or another 3. Watch Brady win a 4th, so I'll technically take a 4th.
Meanwhile, I'm over here.
I'll take 7. Like sure. Like yeah, I'll take 7. I'll take 7 with an asterisk and like a straight 6, like the good
Right.
6 and like 7, like the okay 7.
And I'm over here in my like 4th Browns jersey that for a player that immediately got traded, and I'm just like, "Can I have a little more?" And you're like,
That
"More?"
trade
And you
still
smack me
yucky,
away
man.
because you're the fucking
Yucky.
Patriots need up 6 goddamn Super Bowl rings, you son of a bitch.
And
Uh,
we might have fixed our quarterback again before you guys.
oh, 100%. 100%. We traded
That's
away 3 years
criminal,
of
dude.
having an opportunity to fix our quarterback spot and hoped that this was the guy after
Dude, you guys should have
400 plus
kept
games out.
Baker. Should have kept Baker. Should have kept Baker.
1000%. I said it.
Certified sicko of the week.
I love that drop. It's so
It's
useful.
amazing. It's
He's
amazing. I wish I had a chain for it. But no, Baker's that dude. He played through injury, played the year before, got us to a playoff win against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. And we're like, thank you for playing through that injury and gritting it out. We will now cut you and send so much money to an alleged, for legal reasons, but a freaking like,
a shady ass dude.
a shady asshole. Let's say, yeah,
Shady
not
asshole.
even alleged. You are a shady asshole, Deshaun Watson.
Like,
But
dude,
yeah, no, I'm a lifelong Browns fan. Made it hard for me to root for the Browns because
it's frustrating. Because
yeah,
dude, I feel like he's such a easy guy to root for. Like, I don't know.
yes,
I love watching that dude play even when he's not playing all that well. Like he's
yeah,
trying mad hard.
100%.
But yeah, so that sucks. I do apologize for that. That's the like
You don't need to apologize. Andrew Barry needs to apologize.
it just sucks to be in that position. Like I've only been in it for a couple of years and I'm freaking out. So I could only imagine. Let's get into Eagles Rams. I have the
Yep.
Eagles winning. I have the Eagles covering. Rams look really, really good, but it just comes down to the trenches, and that Eagles defensive line is really starting to take hold. I think Jalen Carter is really starting to become the player that people talked about him to be. Like
Yeah,
oh, this dude should go number 1 overall, and he fell to 10, and like now it's starting to show that he has that.
yeah,
You're like, oh, so this is why like he probably should have went like in the top 5, huh? They're like,
100.
yeah. So
That
give
and
me
the cornerbacks too. My thing was
Quinyon
gonna be
Mitchell looks
dude,
gross.
incredible. Like this is one of the reasons why there wasn't even in a lot of the mocks a defensive player taken in the first like 8 to 10 picks or so. And then it
Yeah.
ended up being, I think, what was it like in the teens?
15
15
was the first defensive. It was
first player drafted. That's
Loya
insane.
Latu.
And they got the 2 top cornerbacks. Like him and Cooper DeJean has been very solid for a rookie.
Yeah.
So immediately turned that from a weakness to at least being middle of the pack.
Oh, it's a strength, bro. If you have Darius Slay, Quinyon Mitchell, and Cooper DeJean, your secondary is good. You have like that's a good ass secondary. But yeah, I have Saquon just kind of running away with the game as well, like he did, like he does. Like you're like, oh, we've contained him, and then all of a sudden it's just 2 40-yard touchdowns, and you're just like, oh, I thought we like finished that shit. And then I also think AJ Brown's gonna score a touchdown, hasn't in a little bit. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I like the Rams defensive line to hold up Barkley a little bit more. Like you said, he can break anything off, and like that just ends up it could be a screen, it could be anything. He could break loose and do it. But their secondary is a little bit weaker right now, so I got Eagles to win, cover the spread, and AJ Brown to be both the player of the game and the anytime touchdown.
Word, lead us into our last game.
Last game, Baltimore against the Chargers. This was the hardest game for me to pick personally. This was a tougher game. Baltimore has been on a little bit of a skid. Chargers are on a hot streak. I did end up taking the Chargers. I think that they're going to slow down the game enough to the point where they can capitalize on being a team that doesn't turn the ball over, just does what needs to be done to move the chains and score some points. Whereas Baltimore can occasionally lose a game because of the big turnovers. So that's how I have it going. I got Herbie as the player of the game and McConkey as the anytime touchdown.
Yeah, I like that a lot. We kind of talked about Lad McConkey that last week. That game. That's your like, oh shit, this kid might be a superstar type of game. Like those are the type of plays he was making.
Yeah.
I'm giving my nod to the Chargers here. I'm one of the first people to admit it. I was not a believer in this team. I did not think that Justin Herbert would adapt to John Harbaugh's system so quickly. I didn't think John Harbaugh would adapt to the way that the NFL has adapted so quickly. And it looks like this team is it's finally the team that it should be. With all of
Yeah.
the talent that this team has had over the years, it's always been coaching or something dumb holding them back. And I feel like they're finally not holding them back. And you're starting to see like the Justin Herbert that like the real one, like the real like the
Yeah.
Justin Herbert that doesn't have like a bottom 3 defense that continues to just like struggle through dumbass coaching mistakes and horrible like just being put in the worst of situations and being asked to drop back, throw the ball 100 times, and everybody was very concerned about the volume of this offense, especially in fantasy. People were concerned about people's output. And I think that's because Kellen Moore ran a lot of empty routes, right? So empty volume routes that are underneath stuff that are just like getting the ball. Oh, like it's like almost tempo for tempo's sake instead of just like creating actually efficient plays. And I think that
I have so
Harbaugh.
many things to add. I gotta jump in. I'm so
Go for
sorry.
it, go for it.
So,
Go for it.
before the bye week, 1000% right. Like, and everyone was justified. The volume wasn't there for Justin Herbert. He was averaging like around low 20s for pass
Mhm.
attempts per game. After the bye week, that jumps up. Now he's sitting around the 30s per game. Quentin Johnson steps into his role. Lad McConkey, a perfect like complement to that role. And then the other thing I just wanted to add was like Kellen Moore for sure. I think could have delivered more impactful routes. However, like there was always injuries when he was there.
Yep.
Like Mike Williams is the field stretcher. Next best field stretcher is Jalen Guyton. After that, it's like the routes had to go to Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler, both older guys for their position, and they end up being super low A dot. He
Yeah.
improved Dax A dot when he was there. So I'm a Kellen Moore stan, and that's
No,
such a
I
dirty
just
thing to say, but we're in
I
the
just
space.
I just think that like Harbaugh's system has maximized efficiency and actually created chunk plays. And
For
like
sure.
they're not necessarily like pushing out as much, they're not running
Right.
40 pass plays a game, but they'll run 28 and
Dude, yeah. He
have like
zags
more than half will
of
be
the rest
much
of
more efficient,
Yeah.
right?
Right. NFL zigging, he's zagging. He's going more run heavy, and he's doing it enough so to control the clock. And
Yeah.
I think that's a huge thing in this game too. Just controlling the clock, consistent drives. Herbert's thrown one interception on the year. I only had time to look up Dobbins, but he hasn't fumbled the ball all year. So those are the guys who are handling most of the touches. They're not turning the ball over, and they have a solid enough defense and reliable enough offense to get it done. So it was interesting that we both had Chargers, though. I feel like most of
Yeah.
the world's going to go Baltimore, at least on money line.
I just I don't know. With the Ravens, if they come out and play like they played against like the Broncos, they should win this game pretty easily. If they come out and play like they did against the Steelers, like they're gonna have issues if they come
Yeah.
out and play with like that. Because again, the Chargers aren't getting penalized a lot. They're not turning the football over, and their defense. So another quick thing about that is like instead of playing ultra conservative, they're playing way more aggressive and like not giving people all the space in front of them, and that's made their defense create chaos, havoc, and
Yeah.
turnovers issues. And that's been an issue for the Chargers for a long time too, is their defense just would play very conservative and they'd get beat down the field and then they'd get cut up down the field efficiently and lose. So on that
Yeah.
note, Herbert's my player of the game. Zay Flowers is my anytime touchdown scorer. You want to give us yours and then we can get out of here?
Yes, sir. So for the anytime touchdown score, I did have Lad McConkey. I think if you want a safer bet, go with Quentin Johnson. Touchdown in the last 3 games. And then player of the game, I got Justin Herbert.
Word. Dan, I really appreciate you filling in for Nolan, Louie, and Bahookie tonight. You're filling in for all
One-man
3
wrecking crew.
people. We got one man animal, Dan Baker at Follow the Volume, host of our Fantasy Rant show. But yeah, that's our show, Fit Down Territory, every week. We're here at 7:00. We're 2 people this week. We actually went over our time limit by 20 minutes, even though we had 2 less people.
Your boy can talk.
Yep, we can do that. And yeah, so make sure you go follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Threads, TikTok, YouTube, the whole 9 at stadiumrant.com. And yeah, go click the bell. Have a good week and enjoy your football. Peace out. Peace out.